Hi, my name is Andre Defland and I want to bring you fairy tales for New Age 13. That is, I will soon tell you two of them so you get the range from nice to weird, um, and then can decide if you want to spend a bit or just maybe share the link to this so others might enjoy. I want to start my own company. That's why I want to crowdfund this. I think I have lots of funny and nice fairy tales in petto for all the kids out there that need new fairy tales. The old ones are mostly outdated. Well, not mostly, but a good lot of them are outdated. And so I devised a lot of new ones um, to enjoy and bring some knowledge to the kids and maybe make them think a bit. Um, as I mentioned, some of them are funny, some of them are weird, and some of them are sweet. I think I have the whole range of fairy tales covered, and also I want to mention that I take the fairy tales quite serious. More like the old fairy tales that really had a message for the kids and kept them entertained and sometimes teach them a lesson. Okay, now let's start with my favorite one. Um, the raindrop that didn't want to fall anymore. I hope you don't mind the bad quality of the video. It's just a webcam. I'm a bit short of budget. That's why I'm here after all. Okay, once upon a time, because that's all fairy tales start, there was a raindrop. He fell on Vorarlberg, a new unusually rainy day, because it snowed there almost always. However, since this tale is about raindrop and not a snowflake, because that's another fairy tale which I will tell another time, it's a rainy spring day high above Altenburg. The raindrop went on his journey with for his kind unusual thoughts about the place where he would land and the whole world that was down below. So he asked his companions about the world, especially the place that they would land. It was not normal for a raindrop to worry about anything, and so it happened that the other drops told him to be quiet. But the drop was curious, because he was different, with a capital D, as you might have noticed. He was having a great time falling down in such plenty of company, but to make it short, because I know your time is precious, it was a very cheerful raindrop. Although he was shaken a bit when an old raindrop told him that their kind brings normally gloom to every place they fall onto, and that he should act accordingly. So it also happened that he fell past a window where a little boy was staring out sadly into the world of rain, and it continued to in the next window, just as the old one told him, two children were also moping. But the Norns, the ancient ugly fate spinners, never had all threads in their hands. In their ranks was a novice that often messed up the pattern. And so it came that the already less cheerful drop landed on the last window where his journey would have ended, if it wasn't for a little girl distracting her little brother from the rain with a little dance. In front of a flickering fire she danced around a Christmas tree, which was still there because the brother wanted to keep it as long as possible. This beautiful image helped the small raindrop to kindle the fire that was necessary, and he jumped with a jolly cheer from the window to the street and did the same as the girl. He was dancing. This led to some irritation among the surrounding watermasses, because there had never been such a scene as a dancing raindrop. The guardians of the rules and laws brought this matter immediately to the Council of the Supreme. He looked up from his load of documents into his sphere to see this strange raindrop, and a smile spread across his wrinkly face. Then he wrote into the Book of Laws that no god was ever allowed to disturb such innocent happiness. And so it was that the little raindrop experienced many adventures. He survived all these adventures unscathed and mostly without scaring or drying up, because that was the secret fear. And he eventually came to a famous traveling flea circus, but none as you might imagine. It was a circus on a traveling flea that also included fleas, but not exclusively. There he found a home, because there they appreciated his dancing and his strange kind, and the famous traveling flea circus was richer, another attraction. So sometimes you realize, not the way was the story, but the goal. And this is the beginning. This is my favorite. And now we get a strange one. Maybe I should tell the third one, which is in the middle, but I think you get the drift, and it's not necessary to keep you much longer. This is a tale of the wolf in Sheepington. Once upon a time, it happened that a wolf father and a wolf mother had a kid. How it happened is not of concern now, but I can tell you on another time if you like. So it came that the new family was on its way in the Wolfmobile, and there was a fatal accident involving bad chemicals. I know, it's certainly not a normal fairy tale, but so it happened. Those chemicals were responsible for the fur of the wolf orphan kid turned fluffy and white. Therefore, it came from the orphanage directly into a loving sheep family and was raised very meh. He was adopted so fast because the number 13 is a lucky number with the sheep, and the sheep father had only 12 sheep kids. And as the sheep father was a very clever one, he didn't want to let the sheep government's 13 kids bonus slip through his hooves. The life of Wolfie was somewhat unusual for one of his kind, so you might imagine. Logically, he was then decades later in a sheep wool production hall, musing about his life, and came to the conclusion that something was wrong. He was just a simple foreman, had worked his way up from the assembly line, but as often before, he gave his boss business tips. Since they had all these talks, the company had grown to twice the size it had before. Strangely, his paycheck didn't double. As he was in love with the boss's daughter, he didn't mind that much, hoping that his other qualities would suffice for the boss, soon to be dead. And when he asked his boss for his daughter's hoof, he was devastated to hear that his fur wasn't good enough for marriage. You must know that good wool was very important in sheeping, or the quality of your wool or fur. He started to devise a plan how to get back at his boss. Security in sheeping was very low. The big walls surrounding the town kept all evil wolves out, after all. Wolfie started to export wool and meat, and soon became the richest sheep in sheeping. He bought his boss's old company, fired him, and married his daughter. And they lived happily ever after. I hope you liked these fairy tales. As I said, the other 11 or more depends on how much money I get and how much time it will all take. Will make you think a bit about life and all the things that are going on in the world, because you might notice these fairy tales are not only for children, but for grown-ups also. So, I hope you will share this, or maybe leave euro or two, so I can bring these crazy fairy tales to the world. Okay, that's all. No fancy video stuff, because I don't have money for a video editor yet. Okay, that's it. Maybe you liked it, and I'm happy to receive messages or inspiration, etc. Bye bye.